This RSBANDB update nibble originally aired on RSBANDB update 723. Enjoy. You effectively have three main methods for fishing. You have the fast XP, but no reward in terms of the fishing frenzy. You have the one where you're getting the expensive sailfish. Then you have the AFK, that's okay XP and just lean backward. And what we got right now in Hunters, we just have two. And if we add in this new update we're going to be getting in July, which hasn't been detailed yet, we're likely going to be in a position where players will be able to make a choice on that. And I don't think it's fair.
But think about it. Turtles, you get nothing.
Yeah.
You don't get anything.
And you don't get anything
turtles
from Crystallize either.
Right. So why are those being drilled? Like, if anything, the next thing to come in the third way, since you're getting PVM-style drops, that should be lower XP.
It probably will be lower XP, and you need to think of this on a triangle where you're going to have the turtles at the top end, and Crystallize, like you said, is a quest item. So when you're looking at the Crystal Skill Chinchampas, you got to look at that as a Crystal Skill Chinchampa, not as something that's going to inherently be crystallized.
Then then the mistake was made before. I really think it's hard to take things away from people. And if you're going to take them away, I don't think you can cut it in half. That's just, it's too much. It's going to be another Darklight situation. It's going to be another invention situation. They're going to cut it so far, and then we're going to panic a week later and have to buff it 1,500%, and maybe in the end it'll get to where it needs to be. That's why I'm saying, like, I really think the 750 is a better mark.
How many hours a day do you play RS?
I only get to maybe a couple.
Okay, so you did 2 hours a day. So that's 60 hours a month. And let's just say for some reason you did your turtles over there, and that would be, right now as it is, 1.3 million XP. You would be able to get 120 hunter in 1.5 months.
I can't hit 1.3, man. I've tried. I can't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can get about 1 mil if I am really doing well, but not everybody's going to have every one of these bonuses. I mean, you got to look at high level efficiency skilling the same way you do high level combat.
Right, and that's more the reason to nerf it, because there's so few that can attain those rates. And the reason is, now hear me out on this, is that if there's only, and this is going to be a generous number, because I don't think it's this high, but this is going to be a generous number. If there's 10% of the people that can hit that 1.3 mil XP per hour with this, that means 90% of the people can't. And what that in turn means is that is unfair to the larger community to have this weight on the skill going forward, that anything that you add to it, remember when the woodcutting idols came out and said, oh, this XP is just, it's not for us. So
yeah, it's not good enough.
It's a problem in that people don't have anywhere to go. And I can say this.
Yeah.
And you don't have anywhere to go once you get 99. Plain and simple. You don't. And people are going to, inherently get 120s and 200 mils so much faster in the hunter skill. And you really can't have that happening, because it creates an unbalanced top end for that skill. And that unbalanced top end means that any other content in the skill is overshadowed by it. And any new content that comes out for hunter is going to be overshadowed by it as well. And if you're putting content into a game that is overshadowed, either because it's not good enough on its own, or that it's overshadowed by something else in the game that's already there, you got a problem design-wise somewhere, and that's what this is solving.
So is this creep situation where no matter what you do, you're going to be creeping further and further, more and more, better and better, right?
That's exactly it.
So, okay.
And by hitting the hammer on this, and dealing with the very top end of the player base who can reach these 1.3 mils, you are taking the path of least resistance and offending the least number of people.
Well, and that's what I find interesting, because this is a bold step. Yes, I think it's too far, but I agree that there could be some XP rebalancing on the top end of things. Totally understand. Totally agree with that. But we're going to go after Hunter before we ever touch a Telos or anything else, because we could never possibly offend those players, right?
That's a fair point, but we also need to remember that Telos and skills are looked at by two different councils, as they say, the Combat Council and the Skilling Council.
Yes,
and
but
it's a question of when you put these into the pipeline. And, I think there is work being done behind the scenes on Telos and PVM in general. And I think the incense sticks that we got back in March were a way to field test this to see how many logs they could pull out of the economy with a skilling update.
Well, I'm all for it. I feel like this is kind of this. I don't feel like this is in line with what they've been doing with skills, the directions they have been going with skills, like in the direction of deep sea fishing, then the farm, and then mining and smithing. There was this, like you said, there's this triangle, there's these choices, there's this stuff that's being laid, and this doesn't feel like it's in the same
because we haven't seen
grain.
what the July update is going to be yet. And that's why I think...
But I know I'm only getting half of the XP that I could have gotten.
And that's perhaps a communications issue where the design for the July update should have come out before this. But
Maybe.
They said in the live stream they want to soften people up to this going forward. And think to yourself, how many people are going to say that Hunter is their favorite skill?
No one. That's why it should have the best rates.
No, just wait.
It doesn't have any money. It's not fun. It's click intensive. The mechanics are the same no matter what you're hunting. Like, Hunter is in a sorry state. Yeah.
But what happens if after this July update hits, you have some people who say, aha, Hunter is now my favorite skill. And imagine you being in this position where you hated Hunter coming in. You were only, say, and, I'd like to find someone who is in this boat, someone who is, say, around, maybe 70, 85 Hunter, who hates it, plays the new update in July. It's like, this is a really good skill. This is a good update. It's fair. There's a consistent XP curve as the skill progresses, and I am not going to be competing with people who exploit the game tick system to get 1.9 mil XP an hour. I'm not going to have all the boosts to get 1.3, and